Alright guys, Tadcrow back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday so far, and today we've got to recap day 2 of the New York home series. Very exciting stuff. The main storyline, of course, being that the Chicago Huntsmen versus the Atlanta FaZe is a matchup that will finally happen. Yes, it's online. It's not on LAN as we would like to have seen a few months ago, but this is the best we can possibly do. Very exciting stuff. Not exactly sure who I'm going to pick as favourites in this one. Intrigued to hear your thoughts down below as always. Big thank you to Cam and also for the scoreboards we're going to be going over in coming minutes. And let's hop right into the first matchup of the day, that being Atlanta FaZe Toronto Ultra. This was certainly an interesting one because FaZe, of course, their search and destroy has been the the envy of the entire league. But of course, when you are the best search and destroy team in the league, every single other team in the league is going to be doing all their research onto exactly how you play and what your strats are on every single map. And this is probably where the Toronto Ultra definitely brought a playbook to this one to counter FaZe in the search and destroys. However, their respawns, at least Atlanta FaZe's respawns, which have been kind of sketchy over the last few weeks, definitely look like they bounced back in this one, and especially over this, the championship Saturday, I suppose. Game 1, 251.97. FaZe winner kind of expected map 1, but Ultra bounced back on Piccadilly Search and Destroy, taking this one in a 6-3 fashion. FaZe then win the domination on St. Petrograd, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty comfortable series. Okay, they lose one Search and Destroy, but it doesn't really matter for FaZe, because if they go Game 5, they're going to win regardless. Not the case this time. Ultra managed to win the Game 4 on Gunrunner. Pretty impressive map from a couple of the guys on the Ultra. Honestly, really well spread out, I suppose. Slaying on the team, like, definitely a massive team effort from Ultra whenever these guys win a series, so really a fun team to watch, to be honest. Then it goes Game 5 on Ramazza, and Cammy MVP takes over the game. FaZe lose their first Search and Destroy, I believe, in 8 Game 5 Search and Destroys. They've definitely lost some searches, but this is the first Game 5 they have lost out of their last 8. Ultra make it work, and FaZe move down to the losers bracket, so very impressive from Ultra. They move on, of course, as the first team into the championship Sunday without too much doubt about it, because this Game 5 always looked like it was going their way. And as we'll look at the scoreboard in a second here, yes, the slaying over the course of the series went the way of Atlanta FaZe, but these Search and Destroy KDs, Celium and Simp absolutely disappearing in the Search and Destroys, not something you typically see, and Cammy with a 2.5 in the Search and Destroy over the course of it, so very impressive from Toronto Ultra. They move on to Championship Sunday in a rather unexpected fashion, but FaZe did bounce back, of course, later in the day, as we will discuss. Series 2 of the day was Subliners versus the Huntsmen. This is always an exciting one. They've matched up pretty well earlier on in the season as well. But first map, Chicago Huntsmen take it 252-19 on the Ramazza. And then they comfortably win Ramazza game 2 as well. This is a pretty interesting map because Formal had a crazy 1v2, which I'll put on screen for you guys now. Accuracy, I suppose Temp was calling out that Formal was super weak. Accuracy goes for the Chal, hits one bullet, but Formal, he must have been on 1 HP or something really, really low. Formal manages to survive, wins the 1v2 regardless. But the round just before that was the only round that Sublanders won this entire map, and there was this question around snaking, because it was Temp and Accuracy once again in a 2 versus 2. They had the bomb down at the A bomb site, and on those zig stairs, or those small stairs that you hear talking about, Temp was pretty blatantly snaking the staircase, so, going prone, standing up, going prone, standing up. And, okay, snaking's a little bit of a dicey question, because it was a big thing back in the Infinite Warfare days, and it's pretty much where you either crouch stand up or go prone and stand up repeatedly, and that means it's very difficult for someone to shoot you or even at times see you due to, latency, especially with online, but also kind of the cameras, how they work in this game. Makes it really difficult for you to get killed off that head glitch. Now, of course, this is a bit of a question because for a while ago we thought that snaking was gentleman's agreemented, but it's kind of tough to determine exactly what is snaking and what isn't. For example, if you're in St. Petrograd, for example, on the P5, that middle bar hill, let's say you're just shooting, you need to lay down and reload, you're weak, you stand up, you need to shoot a few bullets, lay down and reload, that kind of stuff. Is that really snaking? Probably not, right? But in this case, it seemed like it was kind of blatant, stand up, lay down, that kind of stuff. We saw back in Infinite Warfare that people weren't particularly happy about. So there's some discussion about that we'll talk about in a second. Didn't really matter though, right? Because Temp and Co lose this map 6-1. However, the next couple of maps we go on to HackNeyR. There was a funny tweet quoting Temp from a couple of months ago where he said, don't play me on Ramazza, anything GG's Huntsmen, because they beat them on Ramazza at the time. This time round, Huntsmen actually managed to do the job on them on the Ramazza, but it was the HackNeyR where Temp decided to take over the game, especially this Game 3 and Game 4 domination and hardpoint. Temp had absolutely masterclass here, really, in a couple of these maps, probably at a 1.6, 1.7 over the course of both of them. But then into the Game 5 on Gunrunner, Huntsmen clutch up, winning 2 search and destroys, and this was impressive. Coming into the weekend, I did say that I really felt like Huntsmen had to win at least one Game 5 if they were going to take down this championship, and they've done it here already, beating the Subliners. They definitely had a tough run of things, got to a game 5. Subliners are a formidable team, but I think Subliners game 5 record can't be very good, to be honest, and Huntsmen clutch up to make their way into the Championship Sunday semi-finals. This was how the scoreboard lined up over the course of the series. The slaying was really, really even across the board. Mac with the best overall KD, but obviously it's the clutch factor that really tells the story at the end of the day. And in the Search and Destroy, Envoy won the 1.7, Procini with a 1.7. He actually had a really good start to the map one as well on that Ramaza hardpoint. And this was all the discussion, so I made this tweet about like Temp slithering behind that head glitch, and Abizi said something similar right here. And then there was a discussion here between Kenny saying people really talking about Donnie snaking like the whole league doesn't do it. I don't think anyone is intentionally doing the lay down one over and over again. You'd be surprised. Personally, haven't seen anyone do it. Everyone has their own definition of snaking, so it is what it is. People just do the crouch up and down snake for some reason, but if I'm getting hit with that on every map, yeah, I'm gonna snake zig stairs and guarantee the round. So saying that pretty much everyone does the crouch up and down one, especially people talk about the gun runner like mine carts, people are always doing it over there. So yeah, as Kenny says here, like I consider that snaking if you're crouching behind headies before shooting a lot, which I suppose is fair enough. Then you've got this discussion here with accuracy. So if you crouch up and down repeatedly, it's acceptable. The mine carts one on gun runner is a tough one to call. I guess people don't intentionally do that one. So I guess if we're just having the lay down one, then Celian will have a field day with it. Yeah, I'm not snaking. I might get a kill and lay down, but I never actually mean to snake, says Arcetes. And then Clayster says this. I don't know why everyone thinks it, because maybe the graphics shown, but snaking is allowed and has been allowed all year. So this is interesting because there's a clip that I showed in a video about a month ago of Shotzi saying on stream that snaking is GA and it's not allowed. And this was shown on stream about a month ago as well. No Merc full grip, no ATS, no snaking was described on stream. But as Clayster says, the scrapping was incorrect in every way, shape or form. Merc was banned in the rule set and snaking is allowed. Not sure why they showed that when it wasn't even correct. So apparently snaking is perfectly free game. So yeah, get ready to enjoy a lot of bobbing heads up and down behind a heady in the coming weeks indeed. Then the next map was Paris Legion versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. This was an interesting one because I had this probably going game 5 or something. I felt like LAG were favourites, but finally Paris actually won a series. They won this comfortably as well in the 3-0 fashion here. I think this was the first series in the last 8 series or 9 series that Paris has actually managed to win, but they take the game 1 close. This game 2 was incredible, honestly. Shox clutched a ridiculous 1v2 to finish it off, but so many mistakes on either side, to be honest, in this Search and Destroy. Uncharacteristic really from a Los Angeles Guerrillas team who are typically very, very good in their Search and Destroys. And then Paris win the game 3 as well. So very close series, even though it was a 3-0. But Paris finally get the job done in a series and add 10 more points onto their CDL standings. And that's important because they now move above OpTic Gaming into that top 8 placing, which of course top 8 is very important for coming into the winners bracket when we come to the World Championship here. Blast with a 1.2, Los Angeles Guerrillas Aqua with a 1.24, but it wasn't good enough. And Dent had a great series as well. But Shox really was the MVP with that 1v2 in the round 11 in the Search and Destroy. That was an exciting one to watch. Then we had an elimination game, Minnesota Rocker, or another elimination game, versus the London Royal Ravens. And, you know, once again, Minnesota Rocker, despite having, well, they had tough competition this weekend for sure, but again, they don't make it work, add 0 points to their CDL tally. Royal Ravens win 250-216, then they take the Search and Destroy as well in the 6-3 fashion, but then Rocker do bounce back in a couple of maps here on, well, Gunrunner Domination, and then on the St. Petrograd Hardpoint, a map that they tend to be pretty good at, but it does go game 5, Ramaza Search and Destroy, and Shawnee has an absolutely cracking final map. I think he goes like 14-6 or 14-5 or something like that. Dylan with a 2-piece to finish off the job in the end. So Rocker don't make it work. They fall 6-4 in the game 5, and Royal Ravens win both Search and Destroys to take this the distance. And in the next series they play, as we'll talk about, if they were to win both Search and Destroys again, or if they were to get to the game 5, I would have fancied them to do the same thing against the New York Sublands, but it doesn't work out for them there. But yeah, the Royal Ravens assault at a 1.4 over this series, so impressive stuff from him. But yeah, once again, the slaying on the Royal Ravens very inconsistent on both these teams. That tends to not be a particularly good sign that you're playing the game in the best way. Once again, whisking back to his 1.5 KD ways, but when that was happening, like the rest of his team was lagging behind in terms of the slaying, and that's not really what you want to be seeing, I think, if you're a London fan. When the team was doing very well, it was a team that, well, certainly the slaying was more even than that scoreboard right there. Scraps done this tweet, which I thought was pretty interesting, like quoting Selly from March. I think that was the last time these guys had even played each other. But the next series was Atlanta FaZe versus Paris Legion. Atlanta just decided, look, enough is enough. We're going to play Chicago Huntsmen this time, beating Paris Legion pretty much on all the maps. And honestly, their respawn phase was very, very impressive here. Like the slaying all across the board was incredible. This game too as well, like Abizi just took over this game. I think he went 14-3. He had like 4 or 5 back-to-back rounds where he was just absolutely crushing it. Look at these Game 5 scoreboards here, like, or, you know, the scoreboard after the game, courtesy of Cam Allen. 2.8 KD in the Searcher of Beezy. Slaying just absolutely out of control. Like, Simp had a good bounce back series as well. And Paris Legion could not even get close. The final series of the day then to decide the final Championship Sunday participant was Royal Ravens versus the Subliners. And this was a really interesting map because, well, Gunrunner was the first one up, 250-215. But then at this game 2, definitely London could have won this one, but it went to the round 11 and Temp had a fantastic round 11. He just sprinted into the site, got 1 kill with an age, 1 kill with his gun, run through Scraps, was completely oblivious, looking the other direction, and then he beat down Wuskin, I think, to finish off the job. So Subliners take it 6-5, tying up the series, massive win from them. And then in this domination, it seems to be where London do fall a little bit short on this game 3 and 4, as we saw in the most recent series against the Rocker as well. So 181-142. This was an interesting one as well because of one of the spawns we'll look at in a second here. And then Subliners close it out on this Hackney Yard hard point as well. If it went game 5 though on Gunner, then definitely I would have favoured the Royal Ravens, so I think Subliners were kind of lucky to avoid that one, given their game 5 record certainly isn't the best. This was how it looked overall. Once again, like Wuskin with a positive KD, the rest of the guys kind of lagging behind, but impressive consistency from the Subliners. Mac once again with a fantastic series. Seems like he can do it all with pretty much any weapon in the game. This was the one I wanted to point out here from, well, what Zero tweeted out and Merk said on stream, like, this is horrendous when it happened at the time. So this was kind of interesting in terms of you've got the Subliners holding A and B right now, and you've got the Ravens pushing up at the top over here by this forklift. So what you will find, which is very surprising indeed, was that as these guys are pushing up over at this forklift side, you would certainly expect that the Subliners that are dying would spawn back over here in this courtyard. It was completely open, the A courtyard. However, they decided instead to spawn right here, like player number 5 spawns right behind player number 9 as he jumps over the wall, and I think Attaches spawn gets anchored to that as well. So just incredible that both of these guys spawned over here when they definitely could have spawned in this A courtyard, and effectively they just got gifted a map split so that they could shut down this A push and well, hold on to their 2 caps. So yeah, definitely wasn't ideal for London in this one, but that's just Modern Warfare, baby, at the end of the day. This is what the stats look like. A Beezy with the MP5 in hand with a 1.39 over the course of the series so far, over the course of the weekend. Remarkable. Mac is up there, Simp is up there, Arstees is up there. Pretty much no one with the SMG in hand, apart from Asim, who's had a good weekend, you know, is up there. And even at times he's been using this like M4 with SMG attachments, which is kind of interesting as well. This is what the bracket looks like then. Huntsmen versus FaZe, Ultra versus the Subliners, and the Championship Sunday will be decided between these teams. I took Huntsmen to beat FaZe at the start of this weekend. I'm going to continue with that trend, but it can definitely be a game 5. And I think whoever wins that series probably goes on to take the whole thing regardless. Thanks to Midnight.com. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.